Okay, I just want to give you my thoughts on the two showcases that were had recently. There's a Red Bull event for Shadow of the Erdtree, and then previously there was an LA event where different creators were invited. Now, the Red Bull event was kind of restricted to a specific area and a specific dungeon most of the time, and the LA event was much more open, much more gameplay, but we didn't see it. We got specific gameplay that From Software wanted us to see, and it was a little bit limited. Uh, it was really strange because of the way the DLC works when you enter it. Because it is always after mode. It is always going to be sort of late game experience. Yes, you could do it mid game. I'm probably going to end up doing it mid game a few times, just going in, grabbing stuff, and continuing on the base game. I love having that good old classic natural progression, or unnatural progression in a way. Non-linear, yet still natural. Not as many grinding experiences as usual. Of course, I'm not going to go get a million levels, but I will grind out some smithing stones. Even then, I want the experience not to be too absurd, but I do want it to be kind of balanced in a way. I have a bunch of restrictions that I like to play on. Most people, if I explain my restrictions, would totally agree. It goes beyond just like no summoning. There's actually just certain tiers of gear which are just so good that I just don't use them. But hey, there's the showcases, and I expected stuff to be totally game-changing from the showcases, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was stuff that would benefit this Ruins build, this sort of strength with a little bit of int build. A lot of gear that would benefit this. And I did make two changes to the build, like stat-wise. There might be more. I have a lot of room for... Not a lot of room, but I have some bits of room for things to be changed around, which is really cool. That 36 endurance could go down one. Right now I have 18 decks. I think I'm going to keep it like that. Specifically 18 decks for spoilery things. I'll let you know when I get to the spoiler talk. But that 21 inch can change as well. That would be interesting. Right now, this fucking Ruin's Great Sword is going to be my primary weapon. This thing is an absolute beast. Look at that damage. Look at this properties. This thing is a beauty. Big weapons right now in Elden Ring are just so good. They've been buffed over the course of patches for a long time. Pretty much from 1.01 to 1.10. They've been getting some serious, consistent buffs, like just all the time. But the colossal buffs that came in 1.09 and 1.10 just really, really changed things. And now I'm a basically colossal main. Of course, in combat type games, control is king, and big weapons in FromSoft games come with a lot of natural control, whether it's hit stun, or stance damage, or interesting stuff like knockdown. The Ruin's Greatsword has all three. Colossals have two of them, just innate. They have a high degree of hit stun and stance damage. And this is where I'm going to get into the spoiler talk, but I will say, before we get into that, just before, the showcases could have just been tiny weapon moveset showcases. They could have been like a little bit of a new infusion showcase. Like, oh, we're going to help out your split mental stats, like split in faith builds. We're going to help out int arcane builds. We're going to help out faith arcane builds. We're going to help all those out. We'll give you guys some real melee options, right? Other than just like the one or two or even zero that you might have. We're going to give you all of these options because you now have an infusion. You have Wetblade that you can go get that will help you out. We didn't get any of that, which is really sad because all sorts of arcane splits would really, really dig that. Arcane progression right now is horrible, but considering how late game it is, the devs were pretty much incentivized to go make, in the DLC, gear that would already benefit really strong builds that a lot of people are already going to play. So because people are going to play, or they're incentivized to play like a big strength builds because of the control, well, that's what we got. We got some really cool strength options. And this is when we're going to get to the spoilers. Okay. So, the reason why I have 18 decks now, why I dropped my strength down to 2 and then leveled up a little bit of decks with, Omen's Merc Max brings it back up to 54 strength, which is great. But the reason why we have that is because we got teased 3 weapons that are really cool with up to 18 decks requirement. One of them being the Milady. That one's the least interesting. That's a light greatsword. It requires 17 decks. That's just additional baggage, okay? It's really cool, but it's additional baggage. The really, really fascinating stuff is the Great Katana, which requires 18 decks. It's absolutely huge. It looks like it's going to have great stance damage and hit stun. The moveset looks crisp. It looks like it's just going to be a great deal of fun, and it's going to be very effective. And, it has natural bleed, of course, because it's a katana. And that being the case, all I need to do is put on the Mask of Confidence, wherever that is. Here it is. No, that's Perception's big hat. Here it is. Mask of Confidence. And now I have... Ta-da! I have 10 Arcane, which is amazing. Now I can use Bloodflame Blade. I already have 15 Faith for Flame Grammy Strength, but being able to put Bloodflame Blade on the Great Katana, or also just the Great Stars here, or the Heavy Great Omen Cleaver, being able to put Bloodflame Blade on these things and go to town is going to be really cool and really effective. It's going to be dominant. Seriously, I don't know how much dominant it's going to be because we also have something else cool that requires 18 decks from the DLC that was teased, and that is the Fire Knight's Greatsword. Holy shit, Fire Knight's Greatsword, dude. Looks amazing. This is a colossal weapon. It has relatively low requirements in terms of strength, but it requires 18 decks and like 12 faith. Super, super manageable on like almost any build. And man, it is a colossal sword with the Zweihander poke. Poke being already good because of the the counter damage that comes from that. So of course we've got Claymore here. Claymore's really good at pokes as well. Get that good R2 chain because it goes 1 into 2. But we look at the Zweihander here. Got a nice colossal, excellent range, and we have this poke. But our normal R1 moveset is kind of lacking. However, if you have the Fire Knight's Greatsword from the DLC, it'll be this Zweihander poke, but with the God Slayer's Greatsword's R1 moveset. At the moment in the base game, the God Slayer's Greatsword R1 moveset is unique. It is the only colossal sword in the game that has a somewhat faster and really cool, honestly, looking colossal chat over there. Really cool looking moveset that's really effective. Not only that, but it is buffable and infusible, and it has base fire and a little bit of base faith scaling. That's really cool. Even then, even though it has that base stuff, I really don't care because I have a bunch of strength as well. That's why I also have the Great Club here. It's in a similar vein because it's just a big beefy thing. It's got so much base damage, a little bit of extra faith. We're styling with blunt, we're styling with that base damage. And then we can buff this as well. We can't infuse this, but we can buff and infuse that Fire Knight's Greatsword, and it has all those other benefits. It is going to be an absolute beast. The problem with that is the camera. Oh boy, the camera, man, the camera. The face cam was covering people's stats, so I can't really make a really good comparison between the counter damage that I'm going to be able to get with the Heavy Zwei compared to the Falling Star Beast Jaw. You know, it's this beautiful thing right here. But also with the Fire Knight's Greatsword Poke R2, so I don't know the difference between all of these three things. It might just be I go Falling Star Beast Jaw and just have Claymore for Poke R2s, just consistent. But I do love the deep range on this. The fact that every single move is pierced, that I can get all of this counter damage like nothing, but the split damage. If the Scaling on the Fire Knight's Greatsword Infused Heavy is just really good. It might even be better counter damage than even this. And it might be a really good dedicated fire option too. Infuse that thing fire, get a ton of damage. Oh, it's going to be really cool. So that's amazing. That's the Fire Knight Greatsword. Again, these things could have been just showcased in a rapid fire moveset showcase. That would have been a little bit better, honestly, if they did that. It would have just been less baggage, less goofballing around, less production issues. It would have just been a smoother experience, and they could have showcased even more game-changing stuff. But who knows? A lot of the showcase stuff was really just... they're not game changers, but it's just cool stuff. But here's the thing. I already knew there was going to be cool stuff in the DLC. I was already excited for the cool stuff in the DLC. I have enough trust in Miyazaki and From Software that cool stuff is just what you expect. And I assume most of the Souls community is in complete agreement with that statement. So a lot of the showcase stuff and the events was just completely useless and just a waste of people's time and money. And my viewing experience as well. Which is a damn shame because it has no business being so in 2024, considering how popular Elden Ring is. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys some other time. Bye.